After the Flyaway Grand Prix in Qatar and Thailand, the FIM MX1 MX2 Motocross World Championship returns to Europe for the start of the European phase of this year's series. This Valkenswaard circuit first staged a Grand Prix back in 1974, and the 250 Grand Prix category overall winner that day was Sylvain Gabors on his factory Suzuki. Well, this motocross circuit wraps itself around the infield Euro circuit that is used to stage international rallycross events and still remains one of the most popular fixtures on the FIM motocross calendar. Red Bull KTM's Antonio Cairoli and Jeffrey Hurlings have made this place their own over the past 3 years, and out of the 6 motos they have raced, Cairoli has lost only once to Max Nagel, while Hurlings will be looking to make it 8 wins in a row. Cairoli is the new championship leader in MX1 after his faultless display in Thailand, while Hurlings remains unbeaten in MX2 in 2013.
Hello and welcome to a very chilly Easter weekend here in Valkenswaard. Just a slight temperature difference from our previous GPs. It is of course round 3 of the FIM World Motocross Championship, and the riders prepare to take to the sandy track of the Netherlands, which will actually run in reverse this year. But before we see the first European races of this series, let's take a quick round recap from our previous round in Thailand.
Well, in Thailand, it was an uphill start. It was hot, humid, sticky, about 38 degrees, or thereabouts. In MX2, Romain Fevre was the fastest rider out of the gate, but it wasn't long before Jeffrey Hurlings, his teammate, found a way through and started to open up a commanding lead at the head of the field. A little bit further back, Jake Nichols and Christophe Charlier were duking it out, while there were battles all the way down the field. Koldenhoff being passed there by Jordi Tixier, but it was a win for Jeffrey Hurlings in MX1. Tony Cairoli was up the inside and pulled a couple of big hole shots throughout the weekend, and obviously in the first MX1 race he got that hole shot but was soon passed by Evgeny Bobryshev. Bobryshev though would make a mistake. Didajka was on the charge as well. He was running in third. Desal was having a fight from the back, but after that mistake Bobryshev lost out to Ken Didajka and Tony Cairoli, and the Sicilian then went after his number 9 teammate and went on to win Moto number 1. Of course, the second race was the super final. The top 20 MX1 and MX2 riders in the combination race. Points would count to their individual classification, but Jeffrey Hurlings was really in the mood, and he battled not only with Gauthier Paulin but also Clément Desal. Paulin finding a way past the Belgian, and that would place him pretty well in the Grand Prix as well. But the winner was Cairoli. 2 wins out of 2 for him, and he now has a commanding lead.
We want to include all motocross community in our championship and keep them updated 24/7 with top highlights and just bring a personal touch to motocross.
In the lead up to the GP, we used, of course, Twitter, of course, Facebook, Instagram. Together with the social media, we want to create more of the we feeling. Like it's one. We all have the same passion, so that's what we were trying to connect.
Facebook is and all the social media basically they're just one of the best opportunities to get real close to the fans and make it easy and also tell the story that we want to tell. We're focusing mainly on Facebook, but also have Twitter accounts and have set up the YouTube account. But we really focus on Facebook to have a solid base there.
It's really fantastic that MXGP riders are actually very active on social media. They're tweeting such personal, things like trip on the way to MXGP, their training activities, and I think these kind of things that what they do on social media creates a very personal relationship with their fans.
With now an iPhone, you can just give to your fan and to to the people you like and to the people who support you. You can give them some picture, inside picture when you're home. You give some news. It's really easy for us to do. I just tweet or put pictures on Instagram or on Facebook like it's my life. Just it's natural. That's the best to do, I think.
The social media stuff, it's very important for staying in touch with your fans, and at this point it's necessary. You know, everybody is on it. I think it's important when you use it a lot, because your fans gonna be really involved with, and they're gonna be more interested in this sport for sure.
We use Twitter to interact with our fans and also friends, and it's just a nice way to have a little bit of banter with the fans and see what they think, see what I think, and let them know what I'm getting up to in the week. So yes, you have quite a big following on there, and I think it's just good for them to see what we actually do, not just from motocross but in our personal lives as well.
I always be nice with the fans, and I always try to stay in touch with them as much as possible, and I feel it also from them that they are really happy with it. So this is the best, because the fans they are the power of the riders, and they always support you in a lot of different ways. So it's important to give them some feedback sometimes.
Coach Paulin, Kawasaki Racing Team.
Jeffrey Ellings, Red KTM Factory Racing Team.
I'm Wolf van de Mozaik, I'm riding on the KTM.
Well, even though the start line and the circuit reverting back to its original format, the first turn about a third or two-thirds of the way down compared to where it should be. Then we flick through the chicane down past pit lane and over the first of the camelback jumps, and then through turns 4, 5 and 6, the right, left, right combination. A little bit tight through there, especially on the first lap, but then the circuit really opens out and heads out to the wooded section through the wave section. Going to be pretty deep and gnarly through there as the weekend progresses, some big holes. Then it's on the gas, up and over the step up, onto the plateau, then through the left-hander, over a single jump just here, dropping downhill. Hard braking point through there, and the berms will build up, the bumps will get pretty big as we go under the bridge, and then through the right-hand turn. And it's pretty fast through there at the moment, but that will expect to get holed out as well. Be lots of choppy square edge bumps throughout the circuit, the ground a lot harder than usual, and then the riders drop down off cambered through the left-hand turn, 180 degrees, and then it all slows right down into this right-hander. Get out of that turn on the gas, over another camelback jump, and then through the right-hand turn. Rowan van Moosdonk, the 85cc Dutch champion. Monster Energy double jump down the back straight, followed by another one into the old turn 2 from last year, remember? Still banked up, but to the left, and it's hard on the grass and then down on the brakes through this left-hand turn. Choice of lines through there, of course. Left, short straight, into a right, hairpin. 2 single jumps, just enough to upset the balance of the bike as the weekend goes on. Then through this right-hander, the old chicane after the finish line jump, which was a step up last year. It's obviously a step down now under the Monster Energy bridge. Final straight, or penultimate straight, over a single final turn, through the right-hander, the Dragon's back, and then the Monster Energy finish line jump, followed by a chicane, and then down to the start line with the final turn on this racetrack. Brand new edition for the European phase and for the rest of the championship, apart from the flyaway in Mexico and Brazil, is the addition of the skybox. Now the skybox is a new form of waiting zone. The riders can prepare actually facing the start line area under shelter. Of course, when they leave to go on their sighting lap, the banners drop down in the background. Upstairs we have access for VIP and the all-important podium area. This was unveiled on Saturday afternoon. It provides a great backdrop, and it really is quite spectacular. qualifying race, the surprise was Glenn Coldenhoff winning from Roman Febvre, Jake Nichols, because the favourite, Jeffrey Hurlings, although he got to 10th place after a big crash, he was disqualified for outside assistance. MX2 race 1 though, and it was Jordi Tixier from Julian Lieber, Max Anstey, and a few other guys hiding through the first turn, but it wasn't long before Jeffrey Hurlings, who started from the very outside gate, worked his way up into a top 4 position, and he was on the charge as well, trying to hound down his teammate and the Suzukis of Lieber and Anstey. Didn't take him long to get there either. Before long, he was up into 3rd position, finding a way past Glenn Coldenhoff, but Tixier then was in his sights after Hurlings passed the standing construct KTM, the 259 of Coldenhoff, the heat race winner. And as the race reached about the halfway stage, Max Anstey on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe machine on that yellow bike found himself being caught and passed by Hurlings round about lap 9. Wasn't long before he was all over the back of his teammate Jordi Tixier, and the 2 Red Bull KTM factory racing riders went at it, but it wasn't for long though. A nervous look over the shoulder from Tixier meant that he was starting to feel the strain, fending off the challenge from the fastest rider in the world in the sand. Didn't make it easy for him though. Sat there for about 4 or 5 laps, did Hurlings, before he eventually found a way through, passing him at the bottom of the hill on lap 10, and for the next 8 laps Jeffrey Hurlings wasn't headed. The battle for 7th place between Jose Boutron went his favour as he nudged out Prit Ratsep on the Estonian Express KTM. But Jeffrey Hurlings was a man on a mission. Mel Pocock and Petr Petrov, they were going at it in the closing stages. Petrov would get through to 8th. Pocock would drop down to 11th, but it was a win for Hurlings in race 1 from his teammate Tixier. Anstey was 3rd. In the qualifying race, it was Tony Cairoli who eventually came through after sitting about the first 5 laps behind his teammate Ken de Dijker. De Dijker was 2nd, De Salle was 3rd, Paul and 4th, Bobryshev was 5th. Good to see Max Nagel back as well. And it was the 2 Hondas of Bobryshev and Nagel who rounded out the first turn in the top 2 positions. Tony Cairoli was 3rd, and it wasn't long before he was on the prowl. Jeremy van Hoorbeek went down at turn 4 and 5. Had a quick look down to see if all was intact. Clement de Salle went out at turn 2 as well, lost the front end, ran out of room, so it was going to be a tough fight back through the field with De Dijker just behind Tony Cairoli. The Sicilian went after Bobryshev, and by the end of the first lap, the start of the second lap, Tony Cairoli was through ahead of Evgeny Bobryshev on the Honda World Motocross Racing machine. De Dijker was in 3rd, but he was closing down on the leading duo. It wasn't long before he found a way past Bobryshev, lap 7. And before you knew it, he was closing in on his teammate, Tony Cairoli. Tanel Leok on the Route 77 Energy Honda was having a good ride. He would eventually come home in 4th place, but tagging wheels, Joel Roulants went down and would eventually finish in 14th place. This was a moment that Ken de Dijker thought he would go on to win the moto. Got alongside his teammate, Tony Cairoli. All's fair in love and war, but then after taking the lead a couple of laps later, Ken de Dijker found himself picking himself up off the deck as he made a mistake in the wave section that not only let Tony Cairoli through, but also Evgeny Bobryshev. And that might prove to be costly a little later on. Max Nagel came under pressure and lost 5th place to Gauthier Paulin when he ran wide, rejoining at the final turn. And Gauthier Paulin was lucky to escape after a mistake there in one of the deep sandy turns. But Tony Cairoli, he went on to take the checkered flag. Bobryshev was 2nd for Honda. De Dijker was 3rd, with Leok and Paulin rounding out the top 5.
This is the new season. As in our team, same than last year, is we have 3 riders. 2 in MX1 is Steven Frossard and Joel Rollins, and MX2 Christophe Chellier. Joel Rollins, example, we have an injury last year. He started just beginning in January, riding the bike, and also for him is a new class. Last year he riding MX2. Every week he improves a lot.
Yeah, it feels really good. Like you say, it took quite some time to get recuperated from the injury, but now I'm feeling good, and yeah, I put in a lot of hard work during the injury, like 3 months only cycling, and then end of December I start riding again, and yeah, I try to ride as much as possible because I was missing a lot of time on the bike. New team from MX2 to MX1 and a new brand, so you need quite a lot of time, and I think I'm getting better still every week, so this is good. My potential goal was before the season already just to get better every week and just try to improve my riding, yeah, and then the better results will come. So I think the first 2 GPs I fought for every point, and every time I rode was getting better. So I think this is really positive, and I think if I can keep progressing like this, for sure I can show some nice stuff in the end of the year.
MX2 is Chalier. Yeah, he's making good race already in Qatar and Thailand, and now still in top 5 in the championship. Sure, yeah, possibly to making good result in every GP. I see riding very good, feeling strong. He working a lot in the winter time, so we see big improvement compared last year.
My ambition is to win the race in the season, and the podium is very, very good. Maybe it's possible to win because all is possible in the season, and yes, I want to win. I want to go to the podium, and so the ambition is very good.
He is really strong rider. Already 2 years ago when he moved in MX1, he finished second in the championship, and last year also immediately very good, but he have immediately injury. I'm sure he come back very quick, really strong.
After my injury, it was a very bad injury. I stayed 6 months at home without bike, so it was difficult to come back and directly to be on the podium. But after race, I think I will be more close to the podium. In 2011, I finished second in World Championship, so my goal now is to be on the first place in the end of the season, but it's difficult to be first because after my injury, it's difficult to come back and win directly. But I think my goal is to finish on the podium for the moment, and but I prefer to wait and make a race by race, and after we will see what's happened.
After a spectacular race one, Jeffrey Hurlings will be looking to make it a double race win. Remember, he's won the last 3 Grand Prix here, 2010, 11 and 12, never lost a moto. But he was forced wide at the first turn, right at the back, having started from gate 38. And straight away, with his teammate Jordi Tixier up front and a gaggle of riders down and out. One of those Petr Petrov. Jordi Tixier tried to make a dash for it just ahead of the standing construct KTM, the 259 of Glenn Coldenhoff. Jake Nichols had a good start, he was in 3rd. Prit Ratzep was in 4th with Roman Fevre, the 461, and Elliot Banks-Brown on the HM Plank KTM just behind him. Elliot Banks-Brown didn't score points in the first moto, so he was looking for a little bit of redemption. Jake Nichols ran alongside the standing construct KTM, and the Wilvo Nastan JM Racing rider Jake Nichols from Great Britain found himself moving up into 2nd place around about lap 4. Had a bit of a gap, around 4 or 5 seconds, to Jordi Tixier, who was constantly quicker, but hanging off the back of that Red Bull factory KTM. Jeffrey Hurlings soon found himself on the back of Mel Pocock. That was for 6th position. Didn't take him long to find a way through either. Just behind them was Max Anstey. And Anstey was on the charge as well. Eventually he would finish in 6th place in a race, but wasn't long before he found himself on the back of another Yamaha Brit rider, Elliot Banks-Brown, but a switch in lines through the wave section saw Hurlings move up past Elliot Banks-Brown. And soon then he was looking at trying to pick off the riders ahead of him into third. Glenn Koldenoff was in his sights. Max Anstey and Elliot Banks-Brown were trading bars in the little paint every now and again. But Max Anstey would win out on that. Elliot Banks-Brown would finish in 7th place. Hurlings eventually went through on Koldenoff and then caught Tixier and went through with about 4 laps to go. So leaving it a little bit late in the day was Jeffrey Hurlings. It was his race to lose as well as the Grand Prix. Just needed to keep it up on 2 wheels. This was the biggest moment of the day. Jose Boutron launching his bike into the Suzuki of Julian Lieber, who was fortunate enough to get out of the way just in time. Both riders DNFing the race, but the flag went out. It was another win for Hurlings. He's undefeated here, 4 consecutive victories, the first time that's ever been done. And Jeffrey Hurlings wins another Dutch Grand Prix. Tixier was second, Nichols the first time on the podium for him in third for Nissan JM Racing KTM, Anstey fourth, Koldenoff fifth. Of course, Hurlings leads the championship, undefeated, 6 wins out of 6 this year. Tixier now moves up from 7th to 2nd, Roman Febvre drops to 3rd, Koldenoff's now 4th, Boutron is 5th. Jake Nichols making good progress as well, but there's your podium. Jake Nichols 3rd on the right, Jordi Tixier on the left, a Red Bull KTM Factory Racing 1-2 with Jeffrey Hurlings taking another red plate. He leads as we go to Italy, round 4. Well, Tony Cairoli also going for a 4th consecutive victory and a 5th Grand Prix victory to equal the all-time win record of Stefan Everts, his team boss at Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. The gate dropped though, and once again it was the Hondas of Bobryshev and Nagel who stormed through to turn 1. Lamont de Sal kept it up on 2 wheels this time, kept it nice and tight. Tony Cairoli coming out 3rd just behind David Philipparts. Philipparts though would drop to 4th by the end of the first lap, being nudged out of the way by Kevin Strybos and Evgeny Bobryshev along the way, but Strybos on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine found himself coming under pressure and being passed by the fellow Belgian who was riding like a man possessed. Ken de Dijker eventually found himself going through to challenge Evgeny Bobryshev, and a pass from nothing as he stormed down the inside of the Honda World Motocross rider, and he took the lead in an instant. So de Dijker led from Evgeny Bobryshev with Strybos 3rd and Cairoli in 4th. But then Strybos found a way past the big Russian rider who's trying to make amends for a disappointing Grand Prix in Thailand, where he crashed out of the first race and the second race, not picking up as many points as he had hoped. So looking to get his championship back on track. Tommy Searle had a moment that he would rather forget, eventually finishing in 9th place on that CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Max Nagel, back from his stomach infection in Thailand, was hanging in there and looking good, but Lamont de Sal eventually went through to take 5th place in the closing stages, pushing the German down to 6th. As the race wore on, de Dijker continued to lead from the number 22 of Kevin Strybos. Bobryshev soon found himself coming under pressure from Tony Cairoli, and it was a mistake coming onto the start straight that allowed Cairoli to slip through into 3rd place. He had his eyes then firmly fixed on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki of number 22, Kevin Strybos, but the Red Bull KTM of Tony Cairoli, well, we've seen it time and time again, he was relentless in his pursuit. De Dijker was getting a bit nervous at the thought of winning his first race win since 2010, but Tony Cairoli was starting to find his form and his rhythm and found a way past Kevin Strybos with about 5 laps to go. He was about 15 seconds down on his teammate Ken de Dijker, and even though he tried to close down his teammate, the Belgian would eventually just hang on. But a great display of riding from Tony Cairoli, settling for good points in the second moto to carry on and win the Grand Prix. It was a win then for de Dijker in the race. Tony Cairoli was 2nd, he would win the overall Grand Prix. Strybos on the podium in 3rd, Bobryshev 4th, and Commander Sal on the Rockstar Suzuki was 5th ahead of Max Nagel. A great 6th place for him. That was your overall Grand Prix there. Cairoli, de Dijker, Bobryshev, Strybos and Nagel, with Paul and 6th, de Sal 7th, Leop 8th. In terms of the championship, Tony Cairoli just losing 2 races this year. De Sal now 2nd. Well, there's your podium. Tony Cairoli winning here in the Netherlands for the 4th time, or the 5th time actually, 4th consecutively. Ken de Dijker 2nd, Bobryshev 3rd. Well, That's it for Valkenswaard. Join us in 2 weeks' time when we go to Italy, the circuit of Arco di Trento. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then. Bye for now.